we are inheriting Star Trek. You know, if we don't embrace and use the elements that are familiar to the world of Trek, what are we doing? We should do something else and call it something else.
Klingons are ingrained in the tapestry of Star Trek as any other villain, so you desperately want to get them in sooner than later.
I do think that the idea of doing Star Trek and bringing Klingons into the world is an obvious and cool challenge, and how do you do it? And we were very lucky to have Neville Page and David Anderson work on bringing the Klingons to life.
You got to pay respect to who the Klingons are, but also do something new, but don't violate the lore and the culture and the history of them. It's always that delicate balance.
One of the early notions that I had was that they might be at war with themselves as well, much the way that we are on our planet, to the point that the things we do also destroy our planet. And I thought it might be interesting that the spot of Kronos that we were in was this toxic wasteland, like post-nuclear bomb disaster.
So this whole thing is on our stage, this whole crazy...
This whole thing is on our stage. Wow.
Kronos again was, going back to the idea that we try and build whenever possible.
Even as a model, you'd have meetings after meetings after meetings about it, and you would see the model, but you don't quite understand the scale of it.
I couldn't even compute what it would look like in the finished form.
A lot of the visual effects would be in actually getting there. And once you arrive there, once you've established this kind of enormous space, then a lot of it we were hoping we could shoot in camera. And so the art department, Andrew Murdoch and those guys, built this huge set.
I remember walking on the stage the first time, seeing the cutouts to show us the scale of it, and it was massive. I think the stage is 40,000 feet or so, and we filled every inch of that stage.
It really was amazing. And that light that Chris Pamprin and Dan built was this huge yellow light on the wall with whatever it was, over 1 million watts of electricity.
There are about 1,200 PARs up there on a wall that are shining through this lens to create this gigantic light source from a very short distance. 30 moving lights, and then about 75 top lights, not to mention various side lights, strobes, and probably another 150, 200 PAR cans around the set.
Even though people associate Star Trek and science fiction films with a lot of visual effects, there's no doubt a lot of handwork and heavy craft work done on these sets. For instance, you can see the sculptors back here working on this huge wall that we've designed. So there's a lot of craft, which is awesome. We love it.
Guys, you all know JJ, don't you?
No.
The whole thing is get him his name straight. But we're trying to make things decent.
It's going to be very hard. This is Tommy. JJ. I'm JJ.
It's like Sports Illustrated for Klingons.
Mary?
You look so handsome. I don't know, if I was Spock, I'd be nervous.
The costume was created, many of them, and were shot for the first film, but the scene was cut out.
Because of time, and frankly, it felt a little bit off point. And so even though I loved the costumes Michael Kaplan designed, we cut the sequence.
I was quite disappointed, as was JJ, because it was one of his favorite costumes. He said, don't worry, they'll work in the next film.
We never saw them without their helmets on. And so in this movie, we had to figure out what do they look like when the helmets come off, which we definitely wanted to do. And so David Anderson and Neville Page working together came up with a great design and a great makeup.
It's really what defines the Klingons, kind of their forehead and their hair. So in looking at the forehead, I thought it'd be interesting if that forehead ridge shape continues all the way around the back of the head. The piercings, the idea behind that is kind of like marking the side of your World War II bomber with victories. They mark their bodies with victories, either with piercings or scarification. We then will print out three-dimensional models as reference models that I will give to the makeup department. And the makeup department will then interpret those on top of our selected actors.
Good morning, afternoon, what's up? We're about to make a transformation.
Yeah, this makeup is a long one. This one actually takes about 4.5 hours. Yeah, it's one of those old professions, prosthetic makeup, where actors suffer for their art.
Yes, and it gets hot.
The jewelry is the last touch here.
Now I am officially blinged out.
It sort of honors what has come before, but like in the many different series, they were all very different. We followed suit, and so the look that you see in the movie, I think, is pretty cool intimidating look, and they need to withstand the scrutiny of IMAX. So the makeup had to be great, and the application had to be great. Which I think David did an amazing job with.
Toch he humapu kastisach.
Pok mo bakbekaba.
That's pretty great. Okay, so if that's the mark for that,
You gotta get mech.
Yes, mech. Rach v'shamech. Edge dodge me which betlak kamech. Not there because poop.
Right. Perfect.
there's an argument about sort of which is the true Klingon language.
It's been featured in the Star Trek franchise in varying forms of correctness.
I let that fight be fought without me.
Actually, I made up Klingon for all the Star Trek films, so I guess I'm the go-to guy.
So I guess no one can complain if this doesn't sound right to them.
Oh, they can complain. They'll definitely be able to complain, and I'll have to explain to them why it's right anyway. She's learning the lines incredibly well. She's a very, very quick learner. She's pronouncing them right. It's like zip, zip, zip. You know, I'm impressed.
That's one.
Wait, marks, please. Here we go. Again. Grab her face, please, sir.
It's always scary at first, but you're so curious to get into it and to really know what every word means, and that way you get the intonation right. And then once, your costumes are on and you've rehearsed it, then it's like you put in all the passion, and it just sounds really exciting.
Zoe, who did such an amazing job with, all the Na'vi stuff in Avatar, once again proved that she's really good at learning alien languages. But now I must go shoot something else, so join me, shall you?
Rolling! Set. Camera.